if they want to. Talk don't bother.
And welcome to Let 'em Talk. I'm Paul DiRienzo.
And I'm Miss Joan Marie Musi.
Oh, okay, Miss Musi, say that again, please. I'm sorry.
My mic was off.
It might have been. I don't know.
I said I'm Miss Joan Marie Musi.
There you are. I think it's on.
Welcome to Let Them Talk.
High enough. Okay, well, we have a big technical thing we're doing here. It's going to be so exciting. We have Timbila, who's going to be playing with us tonight, which is Banning and Nora and Tamara, and they're going to be joining with us to play music from, well, all over the world. I don't know if world music's the word for it, but Zimbabwe seems like pretty far away in the world, right? And I've seen you guys play at the several times now, and it's just wonderful the type of work you do, and really proud to have you aboard. So thanks for coming out and let them talk. And maybe begin by telling us a little bit exactly what Timbila is all about. What does the word mean, and what kind of music do you play?
Okay, I'll say a few words. First of all, this is actually only a small representation of the band. We have a bass and drums and a dancer and another singer, and so it can be larger. This is the redux version. And Timbila is actually the name of this instrument here, this xylophone from Mozambique that we'll play in a minute. But Nora and I actually met. The genesis of this band is that Nora and I met in Zimbabwe in 1997 when she was there studying this instrument. Why don't you hold that up to the camera, the mbira. That's the mbira zavadzimu of the Shona people of Zimbabwe. And I was in Zimbabwe playing guitar and doing research about a great band there, Thomas Mafumo and the Blacks Unlimited, who were pioneers in turning this traditional, very old music into modern pop music. And I'd worked with some of those guitarists and learned things about how to turn mbira music into guitar music and how to have them work together. So we started with that, but over the years we've developed a lot of our own kinds of ways of approaching this music when writing songs, and we work with a poet, Bob Holman of the Bowery Poetry Club, to make English lyrics for traditional melodies. And the first song we're going to play is a good example of that. It's based on a traditional Shona song from the mbira repertoire called Shanje, which means jealousy. Specifically the jealousy of the first wife for the second wife. But we've changed it into something a little bit more heartwarming than that, you might say.
Well, may I ask a question about the lyrics? So he's not translating the lyrics?
No, not at all.
I mean, it's interesting, the concept of translating poetry at all.
No, I work with Bob, and sometimes I just take one of his poems and I just sing it, which is what we did. So we're playing a traditional Shona mbira song, and I've made up a new melody, and I'm basically singing this poem of Bob.
Oh, how interesting. So you're taking an existing piece of poetry.
Yeah.
Well, he must be thrilled.
He's thrilled.
Sometimes we have to make little changes, but he's very flexible.
We work together. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, our viewers all know who he is. So
Oh, good.
Okay, great.
He's been in here before?
he has not, but we've promoted things that took place at his place.
Great.
Okay. Well, he's a
So
part
we're all
of this
familiar
band.
with
Very good.
who he is and
Exactly.
his place in the world here in the Lower East Side. And
Yeah. Well, he has a big place in our band also. So that's good. Yeah.
So you guys ready to give us an
Yeah.
example of the
let's
type of
do it.
music you do? Let's go. Looking forward to it.
I'm
Here
going
we
to
go.
turn,
We'll find-
face you this
Okay.
way.
All right. Good.
Okay.
Hi, hi, hey, whoa.
Thank you.
fabulous.
Great. Wow. So that's
Ask about having a dancer in your band. I started as a dancer, which is why I have an interest in that, and noticed that you said that.
Yeah, well, we've been really lucky that we have a friend from Zimbabwe, Rejeko, what's the last name? Dumboshena. Yeah, and she was in the cast of the Fela Broadway show,
Oh, okay, I saw that.
which is
I met-
claim to fame. But we've known her a long
I met
time.
her in Zimbabwe at her wedding.
Fantastic.
So
Yeah.
tell me, what brought you guys
Great
to
dancer.
Zimbabwe?
Fantastic. I'd like to see.
I went to Zimbabwe to learn how to play mbira. This instrument is mbira.
Like,
It's
can I hold it close to the?
Do.
Tell me a little bit about. Here's for folks. I mean,
And I went to study that instrument in Zimbabwe. I was there 4 times. It's upside down.
It's upside down.
it's upside down. All right. There we go.
Other than that, this is what it
No, yeah, Nora was there to study music. She studied with some of the great players. I went there actually originally to do research for the public radio program Afro Pop Worldwide. And in the course of doing that, I met some great mbira players, and I met this popular singer I mentioned earlier, Thomas Mapfumo, and I became fascinated with him and started coming up with the idea of writing a book about him. And so the time that I met Nora, I had gone back there to learn from the guitarist in his band and to research the story of his band, because he was all tied up with not only the spiritual history that goes with mbira, because it's actually a religious instrument. It's used in possession ceremonies to sort of communicate with ancestors. But that also got all rolled into the politics of the 1970s of Zimbabwe, which was fighting to become an independent country after being colonized by England and becoming Rhodesia. And so all of that kind of came together in this guy's story, which was very interesting to me. But I was also studying the music, and that's how and someone introduced me to Nora, and the rest is history.
Can we talk a little bit about this instrument?
Yes.
Would you call it a xylophone?
This is called TIMBILA, which is also the name of our band. It's the Chopi xylophone of the Chopi tribe in Mozambique, and it's an endangered instrument. Very few people know about this instrument in the United States. I happen to hear...
I've never seen one.
No, most people haven't. I heard a cassette tape of this about 25 years ago, and I fell in love with it, and I just went to Mozambique to find it.
Now, I noticed there's something underneath, like, are
Yeah.
they gourds?
Those are matamba fruits. They act as resonators, and there's a very thin membrane underneath it's actually a cow's stomach lining, which makes the buzzing sound.
Oh, right.
So my teacher makes these instruments. It takes him 3 months to make one instrument. It's all made from found objects.
Now, is each instrument different in the sense of the tone, or does he get the same
It's
note
the same.
on?
It's the same, but they're all handmade, but it's the same. Yeah.
It's absolutely beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's a tricky instrument to play Western instruments with, because not all the notes are tuned to a Western scale. Some of them are and some of them aren't, so we have to work around that.
So that's interesting, because I thought that the scale was universal. That's my ignorance about music, but
Well,
I thought that an octave was the same.
The
in
octave is
different-
there, but some of the intervals are a little different.
I
Just a
see.
few notes are just a little bit sharp of where we
You
would
might
have them.
play it. Or,
Yeah. And that's true actually in a lot of traditional music, that you have slightly different senses of intonation. And this one's kind of interesting because it's mostly matches Western scale, but not always. So you have to kind of come up with the techniques. I mean, normally when we play this, I play electric guitar and use different sounds and things to kind of like work around that. But you'll hear a little bit of that rubbing dissonance in when we play unison lines.
Right.
Great. So you ready to play another? Because what I'm going to do is I want to focus the camera for a minute on
Yeah.
the xylophone.
Very
and
good.
Watch the hammers hit it, right?
Definitely.
Basically,
Timbila.
this is a new
Timbila.
piece that we've never done before, and I was in Mozambique in April, and my teacher taught me, Venancio Mbande taught me this piece, and Banning and I have made it something else. So this is
It's a
Timila.
New York debut or worldwide debut?
It's interesting because with the mbira there are great guitarists that I model what I do after. But with this, nobody plays guitar with timbila, so I can make it up.
All right. A chance to be
These
unique.
are played in orchestras. They're played in 12, 15 timbila, big ones, and they're big orchestras.
Oh, you mean more than one of
Oh,
these?
yes.
I see.
Yeah,
So not this as one instrument in an
This
orchestra.
is a small one. That my teacher made me this so that it would fit in a New York City taxi. They do not play small ones. They're big, and there's about
And
12
some
or
are
14, and they
huge.
have bass. Yeah, the bass all, and then there's about 20 dancers. And that's the traditional music, a big orchestra. They're on the ground playing very, very fast.
So in a way, it's like an organ in the sense that it can come in different sizes and accommodate different situations.
Well, there's a bass. There's a bass and a contrabass. What's it called?
How many different sizes in an
There's
orchestra?
three. There's the timbila like this. Then there's the bass the double bass. It has 3 notes. Each note is about this big.
Wow.
Just 3 notes. And then there's the I guess it's a contrabass. I don't know. They have a Chopi name for it, but it's sort of in between this and the bass.
So this is the highest pitched.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Great. So let's
Let's hit it.
watch it play.
Okay.
That was great.
That was fantastic.
Wow.
Come on.
Timila. All right, Timila. Thank you, Banning Eyre, Nora Balaban, Tamara. Thank you so much for the work you've been doing here. This is such beautiful music, and we've been taking this journey to the culture of Zimbabwe, which is a country we occasionally hear about in the news, usually in a negative sense. So
Yes,
it's great to
sadly.
see, really, the positive aspects of the culture of this great civilization, and it's an ancient civilization.
Oh yes,
Some of
absolutely.
the oldest structures in the world are there.
Great Zimbabwe, yeah.
That was
Great, so-
Mozambique.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, that's okay.
But both of them are very, and these musics connect with very old culture. I mean, and traditionalists might not entirely appreciate what we've done with their music, but
No, I think it's so interesting how you've brought it into this world and this time, and yet sort of hang on to the traditional in the sense that you can have the feeling of it and the influence of it.
Well, this is what I love about working with Banning, because he knows the music, and we met in Africa, and we work from the tradition out. Like some guitarists, if they don't really know the music, might just kind of play on top of it, whereas Banning will totally get. When I show him a groove on Timbila, he learns it, gets totally inside it, and then we go out to the stratosphere. So we start from tradition.
I can really feel that, though. I think it's fantastic, yeah.
And so tell us a little bit about what it's like living in Zimbabwe. Where did you live there? Was it in a city, a village, suburb? What was it like?
we lived both in the city of Harare, which is a pretty modern city. You get out into the townships and things. You start to really feel the presence of rural Africa, but you're kind of feeling it secondhand. I mean, we have both also been out to villages and places where the music really comes from, but
Mozambique is not city.
different.
My teacher, if you want to learn traditional Chopi, Timbila, you have to go way, way outside the city. So my teacher lives somewhere there's no electricity, there's no running water. He has 2 wives who are sisters, and he has about 20 kids. I'm not sure he knows how many. And so when
And
I
they
go,
all play music.
and they don't speak English, well, he does. So when I go to learn Timbila, I'm kind of out in the bush. And
Tell us a little bit about the Chopi, because I'm not familiar with that tribe.
the
Chopi? It's a fairly small group. I mean, there are a lot of ethnic groups in Italy that you wouldn't necessarily have heard of them. This is one of the main things they're known for. It's in the sort of the Maputo, the capital, is in the south, and would be north and in a bit from the coast for the most part. And they unfortunately were somewhat devastated by Mozambique's civil war in the 70s and 80s. And up to the early 90s, and a lot of these orchestras were destroyed, which is another reason why the music it needs to be nurtured.
I'm working on a project now trying to make a documentary about my teacher, who's the great master. He's the great master player, composer, builder of the instruments. And we're trying to, make a film about this music, which is endangered. And
Well, I was just going to say, you must so much appreciate your teacher there.
oh yes, he's wonderful, and he's turning 80. So I'm looking for funding to finish this film while he's still here. So if
Where can
anybody,
people find more information about you guys? On the internet? Do you have a play? When are you going to play next? When can people see you?
we're playing tomorrow in Tompkins Square Park. There's a free show actually, and
What time?
it's before the movies.
Probably
so it's
around
when it's late.
6:30.
Yeah,
Okay.
about 6:30 before
After
it
work?
gets dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's in
They show a
Tompkins
movie.
Square Park.
It doesn't really get dark till about 8, so maybe we're playing a little later than that, but somewhere around there, 6:37.
Yeah,
Come hang
6:30 or
out.
7. Yeah, and then
Okay.
Poltergeist. We're opening for Poltergeist.
Oh.
Yeah, and
Are you?
Yeah, so we'll play.
Are you playing at the Yippie Museum Cafe anytime soon?
no. Then the next gig after that is September 8th in Hastings, which is my hometown. We're doing a festival. I think it's called the River to River. No, Take Me to the River Festival. September 8th in Hastings.
Okay, great.
And we're on Reverb Nation, reverbnation.com/Timbila.
Right, and
That's the best place to hear
MySpace
us.
or something. MySpace. Yeah.
MySpace, but nobody looks at MySpace.
Okay, well, it's got music. That's why I was listening.
The music is there, that's
Yeah,
true. It's worth mentioning.
Yeah.
It is there. MySpace or Reverb Nation.
All right, Reverb Nation. All right,
Reverb,
great.
Reverb Nation gets more updated.
So Timila, why don't you guys play? We have time for one more song. So
Yeah, this is
Okay.
we're going to do a traditional song from Zimbabwe called Bankitsa. I'm going to be singing in Shona.
And I will not be playing traditional style
Can
guitar.
you speak? Do you sing these songs, or can you actually speak the language, like while you're there when you talk to people?
I'm not so great at speaking the language. In Mozambique, I've learned a little bit, like, because my teacher's wives and kids don't speak any English, so he teaches me, he speaks English, he'll teach me how to say what I want to say to them, so
Great.
a little bit.
Go ahead.
Okay, here it is, our version of Bangiza.
Right, excellent. Thank you so
wow, that
much for
was
being
great.
here. This
Thanks,
was such a
guys.
great night.
Wow.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, and we just get everybody
Just
in the
a quick
camera.
nod to Tamara
Yeah.
with her avocado.
My little avocado. I love my avocado. I love that. It's amazing, right? It's fantastic.
All right. So last 30 seconds. Anything you guys like to add, or? mention about your music?
Come out to Tompkins Square Park tomorrow, and
have
if you
a
want to learn
CD?
more about, we have a CD called Remembering the Future, which you can get on CD Baby. And for more on African music in general, check out afropop.org.
All right, thank you very much for joining us on Let Them Talk, guys. We really just love everything you've been doing. It's just wonderful. And let's see if I can get more in my face here. All right, there we go.
Thank you. There